All right, guys, we are excited to welcome on the Endless Hustle former NFL running back turned best-selling author and philanthropist, Rashad Jennings. Rashad, thanks for making the time, bud.
My pleasure.
It's great to have you on because you're like the ultimate study in contradictions from your younger self to who you are today. I mean, you've shed so many skins. But let's just start with how a guy with a zero point 0.6 GPA in high school becomes a New York Times best-selling author and an author of several children's books.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you. End of show. No, yeah, I really. I'm fortunate, man. I'm very humble in a lot of different ways. I often laugh, and even hearing you say that, like it's a real story, right? Like it's something that actually happened. An overweight asthmatic kid, zero point 0.6 GPA, overweight, fifth string running back, decided he wanted to play in the NFL, and somehow or another was able to hurdle a lot of obstacles to make it. And I tell you right now, if it wasn't for my loving family, people that believed in me before I knew who I was, if it wasn't for circumstances that allowed me to play one game in my high school career as a fifth string running back, to transfer schools, and I repeated my junior year. I took non-homeschool classes, non-summer school classes for 2 years in a row on top of the regular academics. I stopped blaming people. I stopped making excuses. I stopped trying to justify my wrongdoing. I think that attitude that kicked in around 16, 17 years old really enabled me to achieve some of the things that I've done so far. I tell people right now, I'm your average guy. Nothing special about me, just the position I'm in, and it's my job to utilize it and be a magnifying glass towards things I believe are important, and which is why I do a lot of mentorship. But yeah, to anybody that's out there struggling, that has a similar story where you have a goal, that a lofty one that's ahead of you, and it seems like you're not going to be able to achieve it, I'm a living witness that you don't have to read a book in order to see that dreams come true. You can make yours come true.
The NFL is brutal. I mean, I think the average career, I forget what the current stat is. It's like 2.8 years, 3.6, whatever it is. But you don't last in the NFL long, right? So at what point in your career do you say to yourself, football's probably in my rearview mirror, and I've got to start thinking about what the next steps of my life are?
Well, for me, I started thinking about that my rookie year. Don't get me wrong. I tell a lot of people my plan B was to accomplish plan A. I did have a plan C in mind, but I jokingly tell people playing in the NFL with a couple things about it. And one is a continuation of college. You go to college, try to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. The Lord blessed me with 8 extra years to figure it out. I still got to figure that out, right? And so I always kept that in the back of my mind. And also playing in the league, for me, I feel like I snuck into a VIP party without a wristband. And, I was just waiting for the bouncer to realize I didn't belong and kick me out. It took the bouncer 8 years to realize I didn't have a wristband. So I partied while I was in it, if you will. So, I knew this day would come where I would no longer be in the NFL. It's not promised. It's not forever. It's not an obligation. It's a privilege. So every single off season, I would take internships or, think from a financial state of whatever income I had in my bank account that day. I used to sit down with my financial advisor after every season in the off season and say, listen, that was the last time I'm ever playing football. What can we do with $180,000 in my bank account that will help me for the rest of my life, my rookie year? That's what I did. What can I do? And because I'm done, I'm not playing anymore. They're like, you signed a contract for, you got 3 more years. No, I'm done. I want to know now. I'm going to take my internships. And then the next off season, they did the same thing every single off season. So when it came, it wasn't something foreign to me. I knew it was going to come. And I was able to build all the network, the relationships, take advantage of all the opportunities. I was able to open the doors. That's one of the reasons why I selected to be a Giant while I was a free agent. I actually was going to be a Raider again, but some things happened, and it's kind of funny how it happened. But at the end of the day, I selected New York because I knew I personally was going to be able to bring more income after football into my bank account, that and being a Giant was going to enable and ensure that my opportunity would be enlarged. So I always was thinking about the future.
Yeah. Did you have to go out and seek that, pave your own financial way by yourself, or did the NFL do a good job of mentoring its young players into kind of financial freedom beyond the game?
Yeah, the opportunities are there I would say the NFLPA does, which is, the Players Association. The NFLPA does a great job of trying to educate the athletes how to handle their fiscal. The NFL itself, I wouldn't say they do a great job. I don't think it's their responsibility to run around and educate every player what to do with their money. But we do have the people in place. You have an agent that hopefully he's doing a great job working for you. You get yourself a financial advisor if you feel it's necessary. For a lot of guys, it's really not. We are well equipped. We have resources that are very strong. And so I've never had a complaint in that area.
Matt and I were just talking about Tony Romo, who has become arguably the biggest star in the NFL, and he's a broadcaster. What do you think about the Tony Romo phenomenon right now, Rashad, and how he's essentially a modern-day John Madden?
I like it. I just think he's a better commentator than he was a quarterback, and that's not even a knock. That's just a kudos to how well I think he does as a commentator. He jumped right into it. He handles it well. His ad libs, his ability to understand the game. I'm sure somebody's going to ask him for a top dollar to come coach at some point. He keep predicting what's going to happen before the play happens. Wow. It's kind of insane. But that's a defensive coordinator's dream, or a head coach's dream to have a defensive coordinator to predict what's going to happen. And he's a good guy. He's been doing well for himself. So, unfortunately he's a cowboy. So that's one knock on him. Other than that, I ain't got too much bad to say about good old Tony.
I want to back it up a little here, Rashad. I mean, you said you went 270-pound kid, asthma, glasses. I mean, your whole team got injured. That's the only reason you actually entered the game your junior year. And then you go to be one of the only true freshmen to ever start at Pitt. I mean, the acceleration from zero to hero was so fast. Was there like a moment where you were like, wow, maybe I can be this person?
To answer that directly, the moment really never happened where I thought I could be that person. I never did. And that's why even looking back, I still can't believe it happened. And I appreciate that feeling because, I didn't really trust my skills. I didn't trust my ability. I was just always swinging at the fences, and any type of confidence that I may have walked with was an illusion. Just because I saw somebody else do it, you know what I mean? So for me, I don't think you always need, the moment where it's like, I believe I can do it now. Like I trust that I can do it now. I always walk with, man, I don't know if I could do this. I'm going to give it everything I got though. I was always an underdog in every situation, even though I could have been the best in the room. And I'm still like that today. So that's helped me a lot. It keeps me humble. It keeps things into perspective. And it also reminds me that I don't have to fake and try to be somebody I ain't.
There are a few better platforms out there for a retired athlete to get exposure on than Dancing with the Stars. You then go win the Mirrorball Trophy, and millions of people who may have not followed you in the NFL now instantaneously know who you are and may be fans. What's it like for you? You win the Mirrorball Trophy. Are networks coming and calling you for broadcast positions, hosting positions? Does it elevate your profile? What happens next in that situation?
Yeah, so Dancing with the Stars was a major highlight in my life. I never saw that coming. If you'd have told me at the age of, 16, one day you will be traveling around on a tour bus selling out stadiums for dancing, I was like, man, get the heck out of my face. Like, I couldn't write that script out to save my life. I wouldn't have, right? And so it's a special place in my heart with that show and that opportunity, and it did elevate my profile. I cannot go to an airport even today without being stopped by many moms. Like I don't know what it is about the airport too that makes everybody feel comfortable to come up to you. Like anywhere else, it's something about the airport and Dancing with the Stars. It's just like you can't not go on and not get approached. So it did. It allowed me to introduce myself to a brand new audience that didn't require what jersey number do you wear, what's your fantasy stats. You know, it was who are you, why do you laugh, why do you cry, you know, what's something quirky about you. It's ABC, it's home, it's family. You know, it's not. I went from the ultimate American gladiator of man amongst man sports, brute, strongest, built tough, you know, running back, running through walls, taking on 350-pound linemen. Like it's man amongst man, balls in my hand, and I got 11 human beings that are elite. Only 1,600 people in the world can play this sport annually, are trying to knock my head off, and America's watching, right? To then parlay that into one of the most graceful arts we have today in dance, like polar opposites. And somehow, you know, find a way to transition and excel at both, like truly is like a neat experience for me, right? Because I'm a hopeful romantic. I love love, like something about me that most people don't know. And especially from the football community, Dance with the Stars got to know it a little bit because they get to know who you are. But I double majored in psychology and sociology. I got my honorary doctorate degree in humanities, and I'm getting my master's in premarital marital counseling. Like I was the guy in the locker room playing Frank Sinatra, burning candles, talking about feelings, you know what I mean, before the game. You know, I was that guy. And then go out there and try to run everybody over. So, you know, these are things that Dancing with the Stars would allow general population in America to know about me. That I just tick differently. So very appreciative of it always.
What's the Rashad Jennings? What's your ultimate date? Because I'm kind of running low. That well is kind of empty for me, and I need some inspiration.
Yeah, man, I got all kind of bullets in the chambers, man. What depends on kind of gun you're trying to shoot, you know. But nah, it's
I just got engaged,
no
so there's nothing I really can do to surprise her, you know. So I just want, you know, something that's gonna work, you know, Old Faithful.
Oh, and this is your lady? Is
my lady, yeah. Been with her for 4 years, so we've done, you know, there's only so many times we can go to the movies, and we can't even do that yet.
Yeah, nah, listen, man, especially during quarantine and this whole thing, it's been pretty wild. So like, you know, I've suggested some people are apart. So one, you know, something very fun to do if you're apart is having a type of Zoom date where, you know, I've gone as far. I've had distance before where I paid for her movies away. Like we picked the same movie, the same time. I've ordered meals to her house. You know, we sat on FaceTime. Like we do everything together. It's just digitally. But something that you could do that's super fun is start the day off. You know, do y'all live with each other?
Yeah.
Oh man, starting the day off right, man. Before you go to sleep, write a note, you know, of what the day is going to look like. Well, most women love plans, and pick a day that is not her birthday, it's not Valentine, it's not a special day, but you just gonna pamper her. But you got to foreplay it up, you know.
Yeah.
You got to be sweet for a couple of days prior to. Like it's an art that go into it. I'm sure you know, but
yeah. Yeah, it can't be something that just gets me out of the doghouse. I need to do it, you know, somewhat.
Yeah. See, this is what get man out of the doghouse is preparing for the doghouse. You know, you need to be able to show her where her bucket of grace. She should be able to pull a lot out of it, and not just when you're in the doghouse. Then it enable you not to go. She'll be, oh, forget it. You're good. I'll let you go. You did do this.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for that.
What's it like when you're an athlete in New York? And I mean, this is one of those cities. I'm in New York right now. I'm in Williamsburg. And when you're a pro athlete, it doesn't almost even matter if your team sucks or you're a Super Bowl champion. The women are coming at you from every direction, I imagine. Put me in that position. What's it like being a pro athlete, a single pro athlete in New York?
Yeah, man, it's neat. I'll say that it's very you're center. You can be center stage sometimes. You can. Depending on you though. Like I'm overall I'm a low key guy for the most part. I'm simple. There's nothing, kind of under my bed, so to speak. What you see is what you get. But you do have a lot of people who know you. You have a lot of people approach you. Uh, you have a lot of people that want to see what's real and what's not. For me, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm driven, I'm philanthropic. And so I think you attract what you put out, truly. And me and my buddies talk about this before in the locker room. I'm not a guy that attracts a lot of just junk. I'm thankful for it. But at the same time, one of the problems with that, if you attract a lot of amazing, it's hard to pick one. So at the same time, it's twofold, right? If you run across a lot of people that it's like, no, 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 no. When you see one that's golden, it's like, yes. Mm-hmm. But if you run across yes, 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 yeah, then it's hard to, say no at some time. So for me, man, I try not to get too fixated in that department. I truly just stay tunnel vision on the things I'm trying to accomplish and having fun with it. And it has not let me down thus far.
Do you think it's helped you? In the last I read that your father helped you basically abstain from alcohol and smoking from his basically addiction to it, I guess you could say. Yeah. I know you played in close proximity to New York City with the best nightlife in the world. Did the devil on your shoulder ever creep in, or were you tempted to take advantage of that at all?
I don't know how many people know my situation with my father, but he used to drink a lot growing up. And that was one of the things that kind of parted our relationship. He used to drink and smoke heavily. He went through a very deep depression. I have two older brothers, they're 10 and 13 years older than me. I was the whoops, here we go again, baby. And, I had asthma, right? And so he used to smoke a lot, and I was hospitalized, one particular day where, because of my asthma, I had a strong attack. And I couldn't blow through a peak flow, but a centimeter. Peak flow is an instrument that measures your breath pressure. The doctors had told my dad, sir, you have to stop smoking around your son. It's causing him to trigger in the asthma area. And, I got out of the hospital. Long story short, man, I was bad off at that point. I couldn't breathe. I was hooked up to tubes and things trying to fight for my life, much less what I accomplished. And a week later, out of the hospital, my dad started smoking outside, and then a few days later, he started trickling back in the house. And it was one particular day. This is one of the turning points in my life too, that my dad was smoking in the house again. And I was in my room, and I smelled the smoke seeping through the vents, and I started to choke up. So I put a pillow over my face, and I walk upstairs. I knock on my dad's door. Me and my dad don't have a great relationship at all. He's never taken me out to play ball. I'm 13 at the time. He's never taken me out and talked about the birds and the bees. He just exists. All he does is drink and smoke. And so, I knocked on his door. He didn't answer. I opened it, and he was in the corner drinking and smoking like he always does. So I asked him, at 13 years old, the big overweight chubby kid, the big red rim glasses, that is this kid. And I looked at him. I said, hey, Dad, can you stop smoking and drinking and be there for me? He took a puff of his smoke, sip of his drink, and he looked at me. He said, Rashad, what you want to do when you get older? And granted, my dad's never asked me that, right? So I'm excited to tell him and have this conversation. But part of me can see he's just being arrogant. And so, I take my chance, and with a big bright smile, I look at him, I say, Dad, I want to play running back in the NFL. And he took a puff of his smoke, sip of his drink. He looked at me and said, Rashad, do you think you can make it to the NFL without drinking and smoking your damn self? And I said, Dad, just prove you wrong. I'm never going to do it. And I'm 35 today, made it to the NFL, didn't drink, never drank a day in my life. Don't know what it tastes like. Never smoked a day in my life. Don't know what it feels like. And it literally was just to prove him wrong, right? And so, and in doing that, him watching his little knucklehead kid prove him wrong, it caused him to quit smoking and drinking himself, which prolonged his life longer than the doctors expected. And it grew our relationship so strong. And we became best friends over time. It's unfortunate because my dad did pass away in March just this year. And that's one of the reasons why I was back in Virginia before the COVID hit. And, we know he's in a better place now. But it's such a strong, moment in my life where if I didn't have that, like I had anger, right? And I tell this to a lot of people. Anger is a tool. Like it's a source of energy. And if you learn how to channel it the right way, man, it can make you successful. But a lot of times that anger also quickly can make us do some wild things. So I'm very fortunate that I was able to, as a knucklehead, channel that anger and say, I'm going to be successful. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to smoke. I'm not going to do, just to prove you wrong. So you got to think about me at a party right now, like looking at it in hindsight, but in the joke of it, looking at me at a party and everybody's drinking and having a good old time. And I'm like, nah, screw that. I'm going to show my dad. And because of that, it kept me away from a lot of nonsense. So I used to fill empty beer bottles up with like, me and my buddies, they were all in on it. And nobody's lived life until they done this. Like, it's a thing that I don't drink and all my boys know it, right? So everybody can't wait till the first time I drink. It's going to be a big party. Everybody want to see what I'm going to do. But we used to fill up like empty beer bottles with Gatorades and Sprites and stuff. And I used to walk around acting drunk on campus. You talking about fun. You ain't lived life until you try to act drunk once. Then you'll really see some funny stuff.
So now that you became best friends with your father, and he's kind of softened in his age, and you don't really need to not drink or smoke to spite him. Do you think, are you a hard no on alcohol for the rest of your life? Or can we convince Rashad Jennings to have a cold beer eventually?
Yeah, there's definitely a convincing, and I already know when it's going to happen. But at this point, because I've never drank before, it's not like I can wake up on a random Tuesday and, I'm going to have a drink for the first time. I want it to be a special moment. And so I'm not going to have any alcohol until I'm married. I'm going to share the first glass of wine with my wife. Then after that, the fellas can get a line. But I've been advised not to do that. They said you better not do that because you might say or do something crazy that she might not want to be your wife anymore.
I'm originally from Philadelphia, but I'm a lifelong New York Giants fan. I fell in love with Lawrence Taylor growing up. And that was just, my fandom began right there. Every city has those faces. For Philly, it's Iverson and Brian Dawkins. For LA, it's Kobe and Magic. One of the faces for New York is obviously Eli Manning. So this is a two-part question for you. One is, give me a great behind-the-scenes Eli Manning story that you've never told before. And the second part is, seeing him say goodbye to New York, how did it affect you seeing that?
All right, that's a good question. And Eli is the man. He really is. I got a chance to know him a little bit too much. I lock her beside him. So, we talked every single day. My perspective of Eli is unique because not only did we lock beside each other, playing the same team, my position is right beside him in shotgun at all times. So, imagine Eli's right here, I'm right here. And I'm in my stance looking at the same things that Eli. Nobody can see what Eli sees but me. I'm the runner. I'm the only one back. Everybody else is facing that way, right? So I'm looking at this too. And as he's going through his cadence, Blue 80, like it's sometimes I feel like me and him both knew that the play call wasn't going to work because I can see what he's seeing. So in certain times in the pass play where I could see the defensive coverage is already in place to stop us, right? And as he's going through his cadence, Blue 80, I was his dump off. Blue 80 said, hike. As soon as he said hike, all the commotion, TV, people talking like, so y'all can't hear this. He'll be like, hike, shot, get open. Like, because he knows everything down the field ain't going to work. So I would fake block and then just get open, and all of a sudden he'll just dump it. Like these little moments, and then the commentary would be like, "Oh, Eli went through his progression so quick, and he was able to." I'm like, "Man, y'all don't understand. We knew that play wasn't gonna work. That's why I ran out." I canceled my original route. I would go just get open somewhere where I knew it was a vacant hole, and like we'll make plays happen. So those are funny stories. And also, me and Eli have he's a jokester. He's one of the biggest jokesters I've ever met. His personality, he could be in the TV show The Office. He could go on that show, not take one acting class. All they have to do is say, "Eli, be you," and he would fit in. His dry humor and like quirkiness fits that show so much. And so like watching a leader, right, one of the greatest quarterbacks, right, it definitely, I believe, it played in New York. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. To watch his mannerisms and to watch how he handles things, he's such a goof, but he never tried to change who he was. And that's what I love about him, man. I truly, 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 truly do. He's a genuine guy. He's a good friend. I was just on the phone with him about a week ago. We got some projects we were working on together, but he's a prankster. And we have a joke that's going currently that, man, I can't wait till the joke's over so I can start telling people. It's been going on for 3 years, and this dude has no idea.
Does he care about the memes? He's like the meme king. Everybody would capture his face in the worst moments, and he would just get destroyed. Like, what were his reactions when those memes and those pictures would be floating around on the internet and trending?
He'll laugh. I pulled up a couple before, and he'll look at it, wow, that's a good one. Nothing phases him at all, man. He marches to his own beat. I don't know who's on the drums, but he's definitely moving to it, and I love it.
Rashad, who's your favorite current NFL player today?
Whew, that's tough. So growing up, I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan, like to the heart. Everybody grows up having their favorite team. Now I'm biased and have love for other ones now, but I've always been an Arizona Cardinal fan. So watching Murray is kind of fun for me, but like favorite just overall, that's tough, man. There's so many good players out there right now. If I had to pick one other than Murray, just because I'm biased to the team, I would probably say, Zeke. Yeah. Zeke Elliott is he's kind of doing it all as a running back. I'm sticking with the running backs for sure.
Yeah.
We talked about players that you're a fan of or had friendships with. I'm going to switch gears for 1 second. I'm putting you in the octagon for an MMA match with one player that you just hate. Some guy that you just want to wail on. Who's that player?
Man. I ain't got a lot of hate in my blood because I know why everybody plays the game so hard. But if I had to go in there with somebody to just fight, I would want to fight somebody who got some zest to them. You know what I mean? So like if I had to do it today, I'd take on somebody like Kettle. I think he'll be fun to get in the octagon with. We'll put on a show. One way or the other, it is, man, because for him, it wouldn't be no hate towards me. I wouldn't be no hate towards him. We just know we're going to fight, and then we're going to probably shake hands afterwards.
Why wouldn't you pick a punter? It would be an easy W.
Nah, man, I want an easy W. If I want to fight, I actually want to use the word fight. I want to do that.
A man of honor.
So I want to ask you about Mr. Tom Brady. How many blood tests do we have to do on this guy? I mean, is he going to play until he's 80? What is going on?
At this point, I'm cheering him on, man. I used to be a hater. I used to be a hater at one point, but right now I'm like, man, go ahead and win 10 more Super Bowls. Just do something that's unheard of, because I want to be able to say I was alive and witnessed it at this point. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's sleeping on. I don't know what he's eating or not eating. I don't know what kind of needles he's taking, what part of the government he knows. Like, I don't know. I give up. But the man is he's a great quarterback. Yeah. Can't nobody take that from him.
Yeah, I'm a New England guy, and I'm slowly learning to be like, I just got to give in to like, I now I'm more of like a Bucks fan than a Patriots fan. Nobody's going to duplicate this for, decades. So, I'm all in too.
bro. But the Patriots as well, though. Like, they're winning, and Belichick's finding ways.
Yeah, it's early. It's early. I'm going to see if Cam can sustain it. Obviously we saw what happens when Brian Hoyer steps in. But I don't know. Even when Brady was out that year, we had Matt Castle who went 11-5 or 11-5. So, I mean, we can do it, but we're so used to that level of greatness now that anything else under it is just, it's a failure. It's sad. It's like you're a prisoner of your own success. So
Yeah.
who knows?
I can't wait till they play each other. When they match up this season, right? Patriots and Tampa.
I'm actually not sure. Got to check the schedule.
I really hope so.
Yeah. When are we going to see you in the broadcast booth? You're so articulate. You would do an amazing job in the booth.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. We might see in the next couple of years. I'm having so much fun. Broadening the spectrum right now and opening up other doors. I've had a couple offers with actually hosting a TV show, a syndicated talk show. I've also been taking opportunities to work with executive producers coming out with films. This guy named Randall Wallace, who did Pearl Harbor, Secretariat, Braveheart. Like, wow. He, funny story there, like with how him and I even met. I had the opportunity to give a commencement speech and to my university in 2016. And I did not I've never missed one day of practice or a OTA. This was the first day I missed them all 8 years of my career. And I went up to Ben McAdoo, who was the head coach of the Giants at the time. I said, hey, listen, I got this opportunity. I really don't want to let it miss. Kind of miss one day. He was like, yeah, man, get out of here. Yeah, sure. It was OTAs. And I went home and I delivered my speech. I'm nervous. It's a 30-minute commencement speech. I've never done anything like this. This is presidential. This ain't public speaking. I'm up there with a robe. I got 30,000 people in front of me. Heck, Barack Obama was delivering the speech at the same time at Rutgers. Like, I'm nervous. And our chancellor of the university comes out to the podium. He does all of his announcements, and he gets to me, right? It's my turn. I'm about to take the stage. But he said, before I bring your 2016 commencement keynote speaker, and everybody's like, yeah, they couldn't wait to hear. I have one guest that wants to come by and say something. And he moves out of the way, and sure enough, here comes Mel Gibson. So everybody's cheering. Mel Gibson takes to the stage, and I'm watching him walk to the stage. I'm like, I got to follow up with whatever he says. Like, where the heck did he come from in this? I didn't see that on the script. So now I'm even more nervous. Mel Gibson goes up there. He kind of says a few things. I don't know if they took it well, but it didn't have the greatest impact. So I'm like, yes, thank you. He didn't take my thunder yet. And so our chancellor comes back up and he says, yeah, before I got one more guest, Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn comes up. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, you gotta be kidding me. So sure enough, he comes up. He says a couple things. He said a joke that I don't think was the funniest one he ever told. And it wasn't a big, like, rush. So I'm like, whew, I dodged another bullet. And I go up, I deliver it. And afterwards, Wallace was there. And Randall Wallace was there. And he was with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn because they had just shot a new movie. They were about to release it. Apparently, Randall Wallace grew up in Lynchburg, Virginia. And so sure enough, he asked me, he said, hey, Rashad, 2 years after that, he said, hey, I remember what you said at your commencement speech. It really impacted me. And I'm in LA. I see you're in LA. I would love to get with you to write this story. And so I've been helping him write this story that's going to come to the big screen soon. So I'm excited.
I got 2 words for you, Rashad. Arcade Livingston.
Hey.
Tell me all about it.
Yes. Listen, the new series is out. Please go pick that up. But Arcade, he's right here. Keep him nearby. But like this series right here is something that's special to me because I grew up with a reading comprehension deficit. I didn't really enjoy reading. And so I see around the world where people try to make things so addictive. Potato chips, it's a matter of how much carbohydrate, sodium, and fat. The combination is proven scientifically to be addictive, which is why you can't just eat one. I watch clickbait media, try to make everything so addictive. I watch Instagram with notifications, try to make things so addictive. And so for me as an author, I was thinking, how can I create and write a book and narrate stories that are actually addictive for young boys? Because as a young boy, you don't enjoy sitting down reading typically. Yes, there are some, but majority don't. And I was able to create a recipe where I've been getting emails back from parents that said, I just saw my son in his room reading on his own, unforced. Like, those are the type of stories that keep me going. So I'm going to keep writing these series because we know the success rate of a kid that's able to read, factually of a third grade reading level or above shows that you're 85% more likely to become a law-abiding citizen. And the incarceration rate decreases immensely. So I'm going to continue to write. But this kid is about 60% of me as a child, into everything, question everything, always in trouble, but never lawful. Just like you love him, but he gets on your nerves. Like, that's who he is. Yeah. And the 40% is just the creative side. But what trips me out about these books, like The If in Life, which became a New York Times bestseller, that's all my life. That's my life story. That's my perspective. That's all facts. This is fictional. I'm making everything up.
All right, Mr. Jennings, we're going to finish this interview off with what we like to call the hustle round. I'm going to give you a series of 2 options, and you're going to choose the one you prefer. Don't take longer than 3 seconds to reply, or it's bad luck for 7 years. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, no bad luck.
All right. Better football movie, Rudy or Remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans.
Better running back, Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith?
Barry Sanders. I can say that before you even ask. Best.
Prouder achievement, Dancing with the Stars or best-selling author?
Best-selling author.
Lake or ocean?
I'll go the ocean.
Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan. Easy.
Doritos, Cool Ranch or nacho cheese?
Cool Ranch. Easy.
Better actor, DiCaprio or Denzel?
Denzel. Easy.
Money or fame?
Ooh, money.
Better pizza, New York or Chicago?
New York. Come on now.
Mercedes or BMW?
BMW. Easy.
Better logo, Giants or Patriots?
Oh, come on, man. Easy. Giants.
Better logo, Giants or Patriots?
Twice easy.
Better comedy, Step Brothers or The Hangover?
Step Brothers.
Tougher place to get a win, Seattle or Kansas City?
Kansas City.
Big spoon or little spoon?
I like the big spoon.
All right, Rashad Jennings, you survived the hustle round. Arthur's putting his hands up like he wants to say something.
Uh-oh. I got to ask a New York guy. One more. Ready?
Yeah.
Jay-Z or Biggie?
Jay-Z. I might have to say Jay-Z, man.
I got to agree with that one, too. All right, folks, don't forget to pick up Arcade Livingston. Thank you, Rashad, for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. Anytime, man.